so it's Sunday morning, and the only reason I am talking right now is because the Texans play at 3:05 and not noon. So you're in luck.
All right.
Now the question is why I should even watch them anymore, but whatever. I'm a battered housewife.
Yeah.
Yo, you're supposed to be taking the knee with Kaepernick, man. Come on now.
If he would come here, but he's too busy suing the NFL for good reason. But it happens.
Did you watch the Notre Dame and Miami game?
No, man. I was just busy as a mother yesterday. Like, what did I do yesterday? In the morning, I had some business to take care of, and then in the afternoon, I took care of actually more business. And then at night, I had a all black tie gala type of thing.
Nice.
I didn't see any of it, but I did see the. Yeah, I know. I did see the scores and stuff like that. First of all, I guess first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce everyone to the What If Podcast. I think we're old enough to drink now. I think this is episode 21. If not, I'm mistaken. Screw it. Drinking age is arbitrary anyways. So, this is the What If Podcast, brought to you by your forever host. My name is Ugo, and this week, still the streak goes strong, sort of, kind of having a different co-host every week. And this week, I've put a little spin on it. I have not one, but two new co-hosts. Yes. I have with me Casey and JoJo. Casey and Greg.
Casey and Sunshine Band?
Yeah, they're
Casey
funkadelic.
From the Ninja Turtles?
I know, take it away, guys. No, but yeah, I have with me Casey and Greg, who are part of the Bacchanal Podcast, so I'm introducing both of them now. Please, Casey, introduce yourself and tell me about you and all this crazy cool stuff that you do.
What's going on, everybody? My name is K to the C. I like video games, movies, music, sports, all that, all above, comic books. And yeah, I'm grateful and happy to be on the show.
And you, Greg?
What's up, y'all? This is Greg. I go by Akil. I'm a Canadian living in North Carolina. I like comic books, movies, and professionally I do networking and hacking and stuff of that sort.
Oh, so you're the one that's the reason why someone got elected, because you weren't good enough at your job to stop Russia. All right, cool.
Yeah. Place your blame on me.
Oh, yeah, I'm from the 6 T dot also. I should have added that in.
What is that? I don't know.
Toronto.
Toronto.
I know what that is. Don't act like you don't know.
Bullshit.
First of all, 6 T dot. I don't
416.
Oh, okay. Zip code.
It's like area code type thing. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so both of you from Canada. I'm guessing both of you from Toronto.
I'm from Ottawa, but I'm always in Toronto.
Okay, so here's my question. Why? Okay, so as me from being from Houston, what is your Ambassador Drake's fascination with my city? It's a great city, but I'm just wondering why he's just infatuated with it.
The guy who found him and introduced him to Lil Wayne is from your city. So he used to go there all the time and hang out in Houston, and he had a hell of a time with the strip clubs. You know what I mean? So it changed his life as a young man.
That's true. Of course you will, man. You gotta.
Strip clubs ain't the same in Toronto as they are in Houston, in the South, and North Carolina, and Atlanta.
Is there pasty, or is just like a lack of, I guess, brown people, because a lack of thickness?
Toronto's got a whole lot.
There's no dollar bill, so you got to.
There's no dollar bills, man. Yeah. The smallest bill we have is a 5, and who's trying to throw 5s?
You just throw loonies at them.
Yeah, loonies. You get charged for that.
Just make it hail, man. Just make it hail. Or maybe they have it's like that one episode of Family Guy, just like credit card swipe to their ass and just go from there.
Hey, that's convenient.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, Canada's full of those white strip clubs where the girls are all meth out of their mind and the pole's basically just holding them up.
Yeah,
we have those here too, but they're not as frequented, I guess you would say. But back to yesterday, college football. So when, I guess, what is it, Sunday or Tuesday when they do the selection? What the fuck's gonna happen? Because Georgia got their ass kicked. It wasn't like field goal. No, it was bad. I saw a little bit of that.
I don't know, man. I don't watch college football. I just watched a little bit on Instagram, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? Because so much people were talking about the Miami game.
Lost, so they're not undefeated anymore. So it's like, what the hell's gonna go on, man? Alabama's back at number 1. I love how Alabama went to number 2 for like a week, and then went back to number 1 because Georgia's all like, yeah, you're Georgia, get the hell out of here, kind of thing. So I
went to one college game, and it was pretty fun. It was Pittsburgh versus Notre Dame, and Notre Dame destroyed Pittsburgh.
When was this?
It was a good game. Oh man, it was like 2 years ago. My boy was living in Pittsburgh for a little while, so we went to visit him.
2 years ago, Pitt destroyed Notre Dame. Notre Dame wasn't really good 2 years ago, so that's
Yeah, they beat the dog shit out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pitt hasn't been good for a while, so.
And they had a big following too. Like we were in Pittsburgh, and a lot of people came from Notre Dame, and they filled up. They filled the whole place up. Their following is crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Indiana's just down the street, and then.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, so Golden Domers are everywhere. I mean, everywhere, man, dude. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. So yeah, so I used to call football. I used to follow college football a lot closer, but I've been busy with everything and other stuff like that. So I don't even, I just look at all the news clippings and things like that. So, but it's not just college football we have, guys. There's so many other things going on in the world. Like, for example, it's now a waiting game to see which one of your people that you love or childhood heroes will be accused of groping people, men or women.
Real talk.
That's just
sad, man.
Who's the latest now? I think the latest is Takei.
Yeah, George Takei, Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.'s old news, dude.
Yeah, we knew that.
We knew that. Like, we knew about Louis C.K. It's just like they just brought it back again.
His shit's crazy though. He's like, yo, he didn't even apologize. He just basically said, yo, I asked them first.
No. So this is what happened. It was like,
I didn't even think he was serious though.
It was a dinner party, and they thought he was joking. He's like, hey, I'm about to whip my dick out, y'all. And they're like,
y'all good with this?
They're like, y'all cool? Y'all good? They're like, Louis, you so crazy. Here it comes. All right. I'm masturbating. All right, where's the punchline? There's no punchline.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. And I think recently they just said, I think Gal Gadot just said, like, yeah, I'm not doing Wonder Woman 2 unless Brett Ratner's out of here.
Oh, shit.
There's been talks about Brett Ratner, though.
Yeah, that too. And I was just like, bravo, Gal Gadot, using that leverage. Good for you.
Yeah. Cleansing.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers sitting there like, she's our only critically successful movie. We have to appease her.
They should. Like, what the hell?
They should. I mean, but it's like, I talked about this on my last show. It's rough. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's just rough. Second of all, it's been going on for years. I mean, there's a reason why it's called the casting couch. Like, it's become like a part of the pop culture lexicon, the casting couch. It's like how you do it. To the point where it's been normalized, which it never should have been, but it has.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, unfortunately, like I said before, it happens not just in Hollywood, but in all industries. But the reason why people care now is because you actually know who these people are. Like Jane down the street who works in HR has probably been getting harassed by her boss for years, and she's been saying something, but no one cares because you don't know Jane. But when Rose McGowan says it, you're like, oh my God, this is awful, kind of thing. And it is.
Fake outrage from Hollywood. So
fake outrage from everybody.
But at what point?
Shit's been going on since the 60s.
What point do we...
20s? Ever since film went to, like...
You're right.
I mean,
seriously.
You're right.
20s. Yeah.
At what point do we start to look at the situations and be desensitized and say, like, is this person lying? Is this the truth?
Now,
at what point are we going to need the proof? Because people could throw out allegations and it could be like just a lie just to destroy a guy's
now that's happening. The minute when it started happening, I guess the straw that broke the camel's back was Harvey Weinstein. Mm-hmm. Think about Harvey Weinstein. Everyone knew Harvey Weinstein was a creep. In fact, Entourage had a character that was pretty much Harvey Weinstein. They just didn't say it was Harvey Weinstein, and everyone knew that's who they were talking about. He's the most open secret in Hollywood. Well, then all of a sudden, these other people start coming out, like Ben Affleck, and all these other people start coming out. I'm starting thinking, like, okay, I'm not saying they didn't do it, but there's going to be a point, especially in this culture in Hollywood, that people are just going to say shit just to get on the front screen type of thing.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing because it's an attention culture, So it's like...
And sometimes you have to... It might be an indicator of... And again, it's not a very good indicator. But it might be a good indicator of whether they did it or not is by their reaction to it. You could either, A, have the Harvey Weinstein reaction where you don't say anything and a lawyer comes out, which means you probably did it.
Yeah.
B, have the Ben Affleck encounter where you say like, oh, this guy's a sleazebag, I hate it, and then literally after you say that said, no, you're a part of it too, and I told you about it, you did nothing, which brings me to another matter of, listen, if stuff happens, don't condemn anybody. Just don't do it. Mm-hmm. The best you can do is come out and say like, oh, it's horrible that this happened to these victims, and I hope they can find justice and peace. And that's it. Stop. Don't say anything else. Don't say like, oh, that guy's a scumbag, or oh, that person's lying. Because the minute you say that, within like 3 or 4 keystrokes, I will find you doing some dirty shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I said on Facebook before, like, if I was ever to, like, save somebody from, like, a building or something, I'm going to scrub my Facebook clean, because they're going to look for any type of dirt. They'll be like, yeah, he saved these kids. But in 2007, he was asking where the hoe's at.
Yeah, pretty much. Remember last year? God, what was it? It was the last year that, last year during the presidential debate, where that one guy asked the question, like, can one of you say something good about the other person? And then literally the next day they're like, oh, on Reddit, he likes like pervy stuff. You're like, guys, come on.
Yeah, the dude with the red sweater, right?
Yes, that dude.
You forgot about Type C though. What about the live your truth, the Andy Dick way? He just fucking, hey man, yeah. I'm a perv.
You know what? And I respect that. Like, listen, if you're gonna come like I'm a perv, like,
least, you know what? Bullshit.
I know it's there. Your bullshit's out there. Cool. And then there's Type D, where you go the Kevin Spacey way of blaming what you did on your sexual orientation.
Yeah, that's the worst. That was the worst idea.
That's wild as hell.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Like, this is like, if I hurt him, I'm sorry, but I'm gay. No, stop. I'm glad that you've accepted yourself. We're gonna move that to the side. What did you do, Mr. Spacey? And it's hard, dude. And then they suspended House of Cards. They kicked him off the show. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you kick off the main character who literally monologues to the screen off the show? Like, how is that going to work?
I didn't even watch the last season. It was falling off anyways.
But... I didn't watch the last season either. And my sister watched it, and she said it was, like, really boring and all set up. And the thing is, I bet it was all set up, but I bet it was all set up to set up this last... Because this next season that they're filming, I knew was going to be their last season.
Yeah.
Because after that point, once he goes through a whole election cycle, it's like, all right, we got to end this sooner or later. Mm-hmm. But... if they're gonna kick him off the show, like so are they gonna like assassinate him off screen? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I don't know, man.
Car explosion, mafia style.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
It's just So this whole thing with the Hollywood and all that happening is just a huge cluster.
Yo, did you hear about Charlie Sheen though?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, his was worse, man. Oh my god.
Feldon named him. I actually read that book.
God.
It was weird. Like, I read the book because a friend of mine recommended it to me. I read it, and then 2 days after I read it, that's when the Harvey Weinstein shit happened. It was crazy.
Wow.
And if you read the book, the thing about the book is that Corey Feldman wrote the book. He talked about himself, but also like his encounters with Corey Haim, and you could see that he was trying to make himself a sympathetic character. Not in that like he made himself he was a saint. No, he wasn't. He said, I had problems. I did this. I did that. But I think he was worse than what he depicted in what he wrote, kind of thing. And the stuff that was happening, and there was a part in the book where he was all like, oh yeah, I was with Corey, and he was like really hyperactive, and he said like, hey, Corey, come over here and come over here and suck my dick. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna suck your dick. I'm not gay. What the hell's wrong with you? And then apparently they had a friend there that was gay, or closeted gay at the time. He said, you're gay, aren't you? And he said, yeah, well, get over here. And apparently they went to another room, and all he heard was like rhythmic slapping and moaning. Oh God. And so like he's like, and that's what happened. And I was like, what?
You destroyed the word rhythmic to me now. It'll never sound the same.
That's what he said happened in the book. So I'm just like,
I know.
It's rhythmic and moist.
Yeah.
Jesus, rhythmic and moist. And so I don't know what to do. That's why John Hughes, when he was alive, moved his kids back to Michigan, kind of thing, and just had to get him out of that culture. And so I feel like okay, first question, where's the bottom? Second question, where do you go from here?
Well, the thing is, we've been desensitized for years on rape culture. Like, we grew up watching Revenge of the Nerds. The dude put a mask on and then banged out the other dude's girl, and everyone was okay with it. And then we watch movies like Porky's, where they drill holes in the wall and are watching these women change, and they're like, haha, we're sexual predators. Yay! That's the concept of the movie.
Things like that used to happen in comedy clubs in New York, where they would drill holes in the girls' bathrooms. The comedians.
Glory hole, yeah.
Yeah, and they'd be watching girls and all that type of stuff's been happening for so long. It's not okay, but I think we're at a time now where we're evolving and we're able to see our problems from before, and we're trying to fix it by having awareness and discussion.
Definitely.
So we're kind of in a good place now that people are open being able to open up and speak about this. And now what we have to do is move forward take a proper forward step in the right direction.
And the weird thing is, it's happening at lightning speed.
Oh,
Yeah, because we have information. The internet, man. We could say what we
2
need.
years ago, this wasn't a problem. 2 years ago, like, yeah, we're fine. I think who was it? Was it Chris? Chris, I did a show with him. He literally posted, like, he went to go see Daddy's Home 2. And he said,
"Oh man,
I cannot believe Mel Gibson, like, they allowed Mel Gibson in this movie, and the advice he gave his grandson was, his grandson, there was a girl he liked, his advice was to go and smack her on the butt." And you're just like, clearly this was filmed before all this Weinstein stuff, because they would have cut that joke out, like, no, we can't do this. So, and that's also, like, a thing with comedy, because with comedy, we laugh at what's uncomfortable to make us more comfortable, to bring us out of our shell. So, the changing of comedy, because let's not forget, maybe he didn't like, I don't know, sexually assault anyone, but Kevin Hart himself is dirty as well, cheating on his wife, you know, the wife that he cheated on with his other wife that now became his wife, and then but anyways, yeah, so
circle of fuckery, that's what I call it.
It is sort of like look, PSA announcement from the What If podcast. If you cheat on your significant other with someone else and then get with that other person, it is a 99.9% chance that you will cheat on that person again, or that person will cheat on you. It just is. I mean, guys, come on, just understand that. Just understand it is what it is. So
yeah, you got to take an adult approach to the situations too. Like, a lot of the people might know what's going on, but they just don't want the public to know also. Everybody's relationship is much different than everybody else's, you know? So kind of more complicated than a black and white issue.
It's all 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
No pun intended, actually. But
I know.
It's just man, it's just a huge mess. And how do they recover from it? I mean, because comedy is like you can't. Blue comedy is a thing. It's always been a thing. But now there's certain things that are blue that you can't say anymore because, like, oh man, kind of thing. And then is it a matter of you can't say that, or is it a matter of it's offensive, or is it a matter of it's just not funny anymore? Because
I think we're in a young generation. We're in like the baby, like the toddler generation of the internet, and we don't know the public. We don't know where we could say certain things. You know, like if you take, for example, like the 60s, before anything, they would have the comedy clubs where they could say the most outlandish shit.
Yes.
They wouldn't take that outlandish shit to, let's say, the diner and say all that crap. They would, it would be pocketed. But now with the internet, you could say something and people think the voice is Twitter. So somebody will say some crazy shit on Twitter and the joke won't translate to the public the way that it would translate as if they were in a forum and they were talking their crap to like-minded people. The joke would win over. Do you know, like, if you're in a video game thing and you say something with references to video games, people would catch the joke. But if you say that on Facebook, people would be like, the hell is this guy talking about? You know, like, it might affect people wrong.
We're still the medium of the communication has actually changed.
We're still in the embryo. Yeah, we're still in the embryo of, like, the internet. So, like, it's the Wild Wild West right now. Nobody knows the pillars. We're building those pillars to where we could discuss and talk. But the physical is being affected by this because the artist that, like Chris Rock, doesn't want to do comedy shows anymore at colleges.
College campuses.
College campuses, because he can't work his jokes out there because somebody will pull out a cell phone who's, like, triggered by one joke that he says, but they laughed at the other 10 that are ridiculous and insultive to other cultures. Yeah. But the one that hits that person, he gets triggered and he puts it online and tries to deteriorate Chris Rock's his
reputation,
career, everything.
So we're in an embryo state of this whole knowledge, getting all this information so quickly with no filters. So
how do you think that will evolve? How do we, like, I wouldn't say combat it, because it's just do we say, like, oh, if you like this type of comedy, go on this internet. Do you like that type of, like, how are we just going to be offended all the time, or are we just going to get to a point where I'm going to laugh at what I think is funny and I don't care what you think? But we can't do that because some people literally, like, fired from our jobs. Like, literally, Sony, because of what happened with Kevin Spacey, Sony is digitally taking out Kevin Spacey from the movie and putting in Christopher Plummer, and they're talking about doing a green screen or something like that, and it's going to cost me an extra $3 million because they want it to come out before Christmas.
Yeah, and the movie's going to probably flop anyways because nobody even heard of it.
It's going to flop anyways. It's probably, I honestly want to see it just to see I want to see it because I want to see how awful it's going to look. Because they're going to do that green screen shit. Oh man, it's going to look bad.
I knew Kevin Spacey was up to no good when he did 9 Lives because I was like, somebody blackmailed him to do that bullshit movie.
9 Lives. I think 9 Lives was kind of on him because 9 Lives was made by I think Europa Corp, which I think he's like the CEO. Well, I don't know if he is now, but I think he was like, because it was that's it. Relativity Media. Relativity Media went through bankruptcy, and in order to, they were finally getting back from bankruptcy, and this is one of the movies they made in order to try to make some money. So I guess that's why he did it. He basically did it to put money in his pocket, kind of thing, and he knew it was shit. And everyone that was a part of this knew it was shit. It was kind of like, okay, we need to start making money with this company. But now, I mean, I haven't heard anything, but I'd be surprised if the like board of directors or whatever of that company just vote him out or something, because he is like radioactive now. Like he can't do anything.
I'm sorry.
And the thing is, it sucks because I love Kevin Spacey as an actor.
Me too.
Like,
it's heartbreaking, man. He was one of my favorites.
It is heartbreaking. Man. Usual Suspects, House of I loved Frank Underwood. Like it was great kind of thing. And for this to have, like, even in Baby Driver, like most recently in Baby Driver, what he's doing, you're just like, man. And then all of a sudden, John Bernthal's coming out saying like, yeah, he was a creep. And you're like, God damn it.
John Bernthal basically said he was a piece of shit to work with, man. He was horrible. Yeah.
And my thing is, I know that. Like, just seeing Kevin Spacey, I knew he was a piece of shit to work with. I didn't know he was a molesting little boy's piece of shit to work with, but I knew he was a piece of shit to work with. Like, most, in that industry, I'm not saying all, and I'm not saying it's a requirement, but most actors are just assholes because they're narcissistic, they're egotistical, and and you have to be to a point to be on the stage like that. You just have to be. And they're in a bubble all their, like, most of their life. They're in a trailer. They get moved from place to place. Yes men. They're surrounded by yes men. Nobody tells them, you shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like that. And then, like, they're not around that. They're not around everyday people, you know? So it's like... Exactly. And then all stuff like... even and to the point where, like, the level of his ashholery was so high in that this motherfucker was molesting his friends' kids. Jeez, that's crazy. With Richard Dreyfuss. Like, motherfucker was in the same room. They were practicing lines, and they were in the same room, and he couldn't keep his hands to himself. This stuff happens with like hockey coaches and stuff too. It's like, oh yeah, the whole gymnastics things that they just gymnastics. Yeah. Oh yeah, the whole doctor with the Ali Rossman or whatever and all that. And you're just like it's just and it's one of those things where, like, for example, when we were kids, we'd go out in the street and play and things like that, and we just, as long as we got home before the street light came on, we were fine, or we get our ass whooped. You know, one of the two. Yeah. But now, you go outside right now, do you see any kids outside? No, that's unfortunate. Playing video games. They're not even going out trick-or-treating anymore, really. Not even, oh, dude. My sister had one trick-or-treater. One. Yeah, my street didn't really have any. And she bought a whole bowl of candy, and she was pissed, like, what am I doing with all this candy? I can't eat this. I'll probably eat this. Like, you know? So it's one of those where, but the thing is that even 25 years ago, that creepy dude in the van that wanted to give you candy was still there. It's just that now we've been bombarded so much in the media and things and stuff like that that guy exists, that now we're not letting our kids do anything. And it makes sense, but I don't think the number of creepy guys out there hasn't increased. It's just that we're more aware of them now. They're on the internet now. Yeah, in chat rooms, on Facebook, kind of thing. They've found more outlets to do what they do, and that's ironic. They're in the internet, they're in chat rooms, they're not on the street anymore. But still, we don't put our kids on the street. Yeah, we put them on the internet. Yeah, we put them on the internet and put them on there, just like. And a lot of parents don't have a full understanding of how to filter on the internet too. So their kids can be on like YouTube Kids, but then there's still things that are getting passed on that kids are seeing that they're not supposed to be seeing on YouTube. Even though I can tell you all about that, man. My son was watching this Japanese video with this Spider-Man with a diaper, and he was reaching in his diaper and pulling stuff out. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we ain't watching this no more. Is this like a Disney Spider-Man or what? No, it's a Japanese man in the Spider-Man costume. Oh, okay, yeah. Wow. And that's another thing. Like, just like having it's rough to have kids, and having kids today. Like, I can barely take care of myself, and then more props to you, man, we're having kids, because, like, fuck. Yes. That's successful. And it's people that are, like, purposely putting these videos on YouTube Kids to try to, like, make these kids watch these weird videos. Like, what's the purpose? What? Are they, like, is it, like, a long-term game? Like, yes, if I don't know. Put this in, like... I just saw it on the news today. I was like, what the hell? Why? Why are you doing that? Like... But... I don't know, like, so Greg, so you have how old is your son? My son is 2.5 going on 3. Oh, 2.5. Okay, first off, 2.5 going on 3. He already has an AT-AT way of navigating Facebook. First of all, I want to know, has he ever done the whole, have you given him a magazine and has he flipped through it like an iPad?
Nah, he reads comic books because he looks at the pictures of the Hulk, and then he's very, he's good with the tablets. He likes to look up Hulk.
Okay, all the kids are good with the tablets now. It's just like, it's stuff like that. Like, and I don't know, like, I was actually hearing a podcast on the radio the other day. Do they still practice cursive in elementary school?
No, they got.
No, I think that's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do they sign?
Digitally on their tablets with their finger or some dumb shit like
Thumb
that.
recognition, probably.
Like,
Retina scan.
Retina scan.
like it'd be funny, like if there's like, I need you to sign this piece of paper, and he just puts his thumb on it, like it's not registering. Like, you don't know how to write your name? I can type my name. Like, we're gonna.
Yeah, that's the route we're going right now in the future.
We're getting to that point. It's just weird, and now I feel like, back in my day, like that just.
Yeah, but it's always been like that, though. Like, we don't know how to make fire out of nothing. You know what I mean? We've lost our...
I know. Well, true.
We've disconnected from our natural, ways.
I guess. And, we advance, we improve, we go beyond type of thing, which is good, progress. But it's just odd just to sit there and like, man, we're never...
It's interesting to see how far removed we are through evolution, through our own generation. I understand, yeah.
Our own generation, like, our kids will never see X, Y, and Z. Our kids will never understand the feeling and concept of, I have to get home by 7 because if I go to school tomorrow and miss this show, I'm going to be so pissed because they're going to be talking about it and I won't know what they're talking about. They're never going to have that feeling because they're like, oh,
now they're just I'll just watch it on my phone. I'll pause it when I want.
Back in my day, you had a bully kicking your ass. You'll sign up for karate, you'll train for a year, then you'll come back to school and whoop that kid's ass after the summer.
Yeah,
nowadays you got to jump on Facebook and they're tormenting you when you're at home. And then you're wanting to kill yourself and all this shit now.
Photoshopping your pictures.
Putting penises in your mouth.
Of you tripping constantly, whatever, if you fell down the stairs and they caught it at school.
Photoshopping Kevin Spacey in your pictures,
Yeah.
Like, this is...
Yeah, the level of bullying is crazy now.
The level of bullying is, but my question about that now is that, am I the old man right now? Just like, not suck it up, but like, I would take, I guess, social media bullying any day to physically being. You see what I'm saying? Like, because we've
seen the physical, like
I felt physically getting my ass kicked at school or something like that, versus like, oh no, he said I was a slut on Facebook. Like, are you a slut? Like, no. Then what? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an adult and I'm thinking like an adult.
The thing is,
when you're a kid,
when they're getting bombarded with this, and they're seeing it 24/7. Enough, sometimes I see where these kids make their breaking point because they're dealing with it at school and then they go home and then they hear about it that somebody's talking shit about them online 24/7. So you don't have that escape like back in our day. We get our ass kicked, we go home, that ass kicking's at school. You're good, you're at home, you have to deal with that until the next day. But these kids, they go online and they're still dealing with the physical and verbal abuse. So it's a double whammy.
It's true, but and I think it's like one of the related. Because did you guys ever see the Power Ranger movie?
Of course, no.
The original?
Okay. No, the one that came out in March.
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay. Oh, the last one. Yeah, I saw that one.
Well, the thing is that, like, for example, like all of the Rangers have some type of like character flaw that like makes them like guarded. And in the entire movie, the Pink Ranger had something that happened to her that wasn't revealed till like almost at the end of the second act, beginning of the third act. And then revealed what happened to her. You're just like, bitch, for real? This dude like lost his dad. This dude's dealing with being autistic. That chick's dealing with being gay. And your whole deal is that your friends called you a slut on Facebook? Like, really, Pink Ranger? And I was like, that was the whole thing. And I'm just like, but then I sat there and thought, like, I guess that's harsh for kids these days. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying they're like weak, but I'm saying it's just different.
It's different. It's definitely
different. And you can't whoop a kid's ass anymore. Like these kids, you can't go back to school and whoop that person's ass because they send you to jail now.
Oh,
wait,
shit.
What?
Yeah. The school to prison pipeline is getting real thin. Like nowadays, if you get in a fight in school, you go to jail now. The police are called.
Juvie or jail?
I think it's jail now.
Wow. That sucks.
So you can't back in my day. I got in one fight and I was sent to
detention.
Yeah, no, I was in OSS and they sent me to a center called Seller's Gun. And it was kind of like juvie, where you do a week there.
They sent you that special high school.
Yeah. I'll do the special high.
You guys got to you guys should have had your bathroom fights, man. That's where that's where it always happened.
Man, bathroom was rough, man.
Or at the station. The bus stations, that's where the fights used to happen.
Locker room. Like, I play football.
Yeah, exactly. The locker room, yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
man, I don't. Times are changing, huh?
Yeah, you can't fight. You go to jail. You just got to deal with that social media fighting now.
Okay, you can't fight, shouldn't fight. Like, try to resolve your differences, like normal human beings through talking. But like, there just comes a point, a place in time where you just gotta throw a punch for somebody, man. I'm not saying like it's the extreme last resort. Don't do it, but like some people, like
hey man, I used to work at KFC and I was working with this old man and there was somebody picking on me. He's like, you just gotta stand up to him and let that motherfucker know. And I took that advice to heart and I did that and I never had problems with the guy after that.
See, like it just I'm not saying like you should go to school and just start punching people. No, don't do that. But there comes a point in time, every man and woman's life, because let's be real, as guys, of course, we've been raised our entire lives, can't hit women, you shouldn't hit women, you should not hit women for what reason whatsoever. But you do have friends that are women that will fight for you.
Oh yeah, you gotta stay with a flock of lesbians. Just
because they're just some girls are just like, you're not gonna do it, and you're not gonna advocate any of your friends do it, but sometimes karma's a bitch, and that bitch comes with 5 knuckles. So it's just, I'm just
I knew a bitch named Karma.
Exactly. So I don't know. But that brings us all around to just fighting people. And speaking of fights, there's a whole lot of fighting and shaking going on in the corporate world, in our favorite corporate world, the comic corporate world. Huh. And that's honestly why I brought you gentlemen on today. Today, we thought about this actually yesterday, a few days ago. Of course, this is the What If show, so we have to have our What If scenario. So, Casey and or Greg, I'd like both of you to discuss what our What If scenario for this week shall be.
Go ahead, Akil.
All right, Sarah, what if Marvel Studios, aka Disney, what if Disney buys 21st Century Fox? What would be the outcome of that?
And the crazy thing is, by the time this comes out, that might be true. I don't know.
But I don't know, man. We'll see, but
let's say they did. Let's say they did. So let's lay it out right now. So Disney, apparently for the last few weeks, and we just found out about it a few days ago, has been in talks with 21st Century Fox to purchase them, to bring them into the fold. Now, from what I'm hearing, it's not completely to buy all of them. They said they'd buy everything but like Fox News and I think some other things, but they're pretty much buying the IP. So that means, and there's probably more that I don't know about because I wasn't listed here because I didn't do that much research for this. They'd be buying all the Marvel, which means they'd be buying all the X-Men. They'd finally get back Fantastic Four. They'd be buying Star Wars. I believe they'd be getting Kingsman because wasn't Kingsman made by Fox?
Yes.
Fox made a lot of things, yeah.
Yeah, so Fox has made a lot of things. I think they'd be getting Alien.
It'd be a very historical move if this ever did happen.
It'd be a huge
historical.
It'd be huge. Like, they'd be getting a lot of properties. So, considering that once Disney buys things, they could, pump some things up or just put some things on the back burner kind of thing. What steps do you think they would take going forward if they were to purchase 21st Century Fox?
I think they're at the point now where they're trying to further build the MCU. So they're trying to acquire certain characters. And what I've read so far is they're willing to throw money at the character that they want until Fox says okay. So I think they're trying to acquire Wolverine, the Fantastic Four, and a couple of the X-Men, and Silver Surfer is also one.
I'm hoping they get Silver Surfer, man. That'd be great.
So then my question, that'd be cool. My question would be is, because I talked about this like 2 years ago. I think I maybe talked about this to Tommy last year, but I think one of the things I was talking about was when the Infinity War happens, you got all the stones. You have the Time and Reality Stone. What I was thinking was they'd use the Time and Reality Stone to reboot the universe.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
We're on the right page.
We'd go back to the 60s, and then we'd officially have the first official family of Marvel, have the Fantastic Four in the time period they're supposed to be. also have, you know, the X-Men and things like that, we completely, because it just shows you, this shows you how dire Disney is with neither of those characters, because they tried with the Inhumans and they fell flat on their face.
Oh, they felt in dog shit with that.
It was bad. So like, listen, we can't do this. Go buy the X-Men. What? Go buy the X-Men. So I'm thinking to a point where they might reboot the universe, bring in Silver Surfer, bring in Fantastic Four, actually have the X-Men in the universe, and still have, you know, because Robert Downey Jr. is all like, I'm not playing Tony Stark forever. Chris Evans already said after Infinity War, I'm gone. I had my trilogy. I'm out. Type of thing. So I think them rebooting the universe, trying to go with Spider-Man. My last podcast, the one where Sony, you're drunk, go home. I'm not saying Disney's going to buy Sony, but, I mean, with all of this cachet that they have right now, I mean, Sony's trying real hard, even with this Venom movie with Tom Hardy, and they're saying it could be a comedy.
Oh, God.
I don't... do you think, like, never say never, because we never thought they'd get Fantastic Four or X-Men down the road? Could they outright just buy Spider-Man? I mean,
I don't know if Sony will ever let go of Spider-Man.
Sony's like Charlton Heston, like, you'll take this from my cold dead hands.
Exactly. They'll definitely collaborate with Sony, though. That's the thing that I could see happening in the future to save.
Collaboration is the most bunk collaboration I've ever seen.
Can I break some news, Hugo? Can I break some news on this podcast?
Oh yes, please. Breaking news on the What If Podcast. You heard it here first in the next 2 days. But yeah, go.
I got a snitch on the set of Avengers 4, and they are seen in costume with the original costumes that they wore in Avengers 1. So Thor's with his original costume with both eyes. Spoiler alert.
Well, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Once you lost that eye, I was like, you're going to get a hold of the Eye of Agamotto and turn back the clock of time. But please continue.
And Tony Stark's also wearing his original outfit.
Okay.
No,
that was like Mach 2. Yeah.
Wearing in Avengers 1. So there is either a flashback or they're gone back in time. And they're filming that right now in Atlanta.
Oh. Well, I don't think it's... Yeah, they could be right now. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, could be a flashback. I had my sights on flashback for that for sure.
Could be. So like, there's that. Remember the whole that's just again Disney.
Yeah.
There's also Star Wars that Fox has.
They need that Star Wars, the first movie, the original copy.
They need the original trilogy, A New Hope, because I think the whole thing was like, I think the deal was with Fox was when Star Wars was bought by Disney. They said, okay, all the movies we're going to make are ours. Like, I think Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi would be the rights of Fox for like 20 years, and then they'd go to Disney. And I thought the New Hope was like in perpetuity, like we're going to have the New Hope forever. So with this deal, they're not getting the New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing that. It was just recently announced there's going to be another Star Wars trilogy by Rian Johnson. So correct me if I'm wrong. This new one, The Last Jedi, was directed by who?
That was God, what's his name? The Last Jedi or the
Last Jedi?
Last Jedi. Was
not Rogue One. Rogue One was Gareth Edwards, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So this
one,
written
by Gary Whitta.
Isn't it Rian Johnson's doing The Last Jedi?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, here Akil typing it up right now.
Rain Johnson.
Yeah, Rain Johnson. So yeah, he's doing The Last Jedi, and then the next one, the episode 9, is going to be J.J. Abrams again.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It was supposed to be Colin Trevorrow, but then they saw Book of Henry, like, nah, B, get the fuck out of here.
Somebody liked Book of Henry.
Yeah, the person was insane. And then
he did the Fantastic Four movie, I believe, the last one.
Ooh, no, that was no. That was
Not
Josh Trank. Josh Trank was supposed to do a Star Wars movie, and then they saw Fantastic Four, and they said,
"Nah."
They saw
Get out of
Fantastic
my
Four,
office.
and not only that, they saw Fantastic Four, and they heard what happened on the set of Fantastic Four, and they were like, "No, we don't do this shit. Get the fuck out of here." Because I paid to see Fantastic Four because I remember that.
I did
man.
Here's the thing. All right, let's go back to the Wayback Machine. Was it 2015? 2015.
Yep.
The news was coming out because, first of all, trailers, they didn't look too good, but whatever. Okay, I was like, okay, new take on Fantastic Four. I'm going to give it a shot. News of Fantastic Four started to come out. They said it wasn't good. I was like, it can't be that bad. So then I saw it in theaters. I was like, oh my God, it's that bad. It's worse. And then the thing about Fantastic Four is, if you're bad for trying, That's okay. You tried. But you've had the Dark Knight trilogy, and you've had, like, at least at that time, 12 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to know how to do it right. And you still fucked it up hard.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that.
None.
There's no excuse for that. And what pisses me off about that is that when people look back at the Fantastic Four movie, they're gonna say it's a bad movie. But unless they really get into it, like the whole layman's person, the person who doesn't watch a lot of movies, they're gonna say like, oh, it was bad because, you know, Johnny Storm was black. I'm like, no. In fact, he was actually probably the best part of the movie, which is
he was.
But they're not going to remember the writing. They're not going to remember the bad effects. They're not going to remember the editing that was bad. They're not going to remember the bad directing. They're not going to remember how Dr. Doom was in a trash bag for some reason. They're not going to remember how Dr. Doom has the ability to make your head explode, which you guys read more comics than I do. Is there anywhere in the Marvel universe where he makes people's head explodes for no fucking reason without technology?
Nah, yeah, no. I could think about it with technology, but yeah, without technology, no.
Yeah, and apparently his reasoning for wanting to kill the Earth is because the Earth is killing the negatives. Yeah, okay, writing. See, not the strongest point. But
that whole movie, I was like cheering for Dr. Doom because he just wanted to go back to that shitty planet, and they're like, "No, bro, stay here." I'm like, let this man go back. What's the big deal?
and let the guy go back. But like, that was kind of like the beginning of you guys don't get what's going, because just the way by how they got their abilities was, I was in the theaters like, are you fucking kidding me? So you're telling me there was enough pods for 5 people. They only took 4 of them, and Susan Storm, being the book nerd, was doing studying or some shit, and then she heard what was going on, went to the lab, and on their way back got hit by a wave, and that's how she got her abilities. She didn't go on the adventure with the boys. Like, so you're telling me she got her powers like in a tertiary form? That is some bullshit.
Ben Grimm's character was bullshit. Like, he didn't have any type of skills, and like Mr. Fantastic basically just brought him on because that was his friend. He's like, "Could my friend come? He's not a scientist, but could he come?" And they're like, "Sure."
And just not even that, like, just Mr. Fantastic. First of all, they made Mr. Fantastic a dick in that, and not like a I'm smarter than everyone kind of dick. A dick in that his friends are being locked up by the military, and he's like, "I'll come back for you 3 years later." Like, what the fuck? And he's living in like Colombia with the stretched out face and shit. And I'm like, is this what you're doing? Like, is this what you're doing? Like, Fox, Fantastic Four, and I don't know. I'm sorry, but that's so.
I'm just thinking, like,
merger happened.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the merger, and they come together. Imagine like Macaulay Culkin's Home Alone mixed with like Rocket Raccoon, or Al Bundy mixed with, you know, making a movie with Deadpool and I don't know, Wolverine and some Marvel, some Disney characters. You know, like, there's so much properties. Like
I forgot about Deadpool. Oh shit! How are they gonna handle Deadpool?
As a wild card,
do whatever he wants.
As a wild card.
Disney, you know, goddamn well, Disney has its own standards. Like, they can't make it a Touchstone picture, because that's what Disney does. Like, if they want anything raunchy, they'll make it Touchstone. It's Disney, but it won't have Disney's name on it. Like,
that's the fear that I have. If they come together, they're gonna stop making like gritty rated R movies. They're gonna want to just do everything that's applicable to kids and adults.
Because the gritty rated R stuff is for Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, but Deadpool's already been like. I want to see Deadpool in the MCU. That would be so cool, but they won't let me do Deadpool.
But what if? Okay, this is all about what ifs. Okay, what if when they do Deadpool in MCU, he's PG-13 Deadpool, but they do standalone Deadpool movies with just the Fox logo, even though it's still part of Disney, and those are rated R, and just use them as a wild card.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully,
you could do.
That'll work.
I'm thinking about that. Like. Yeah, like, it'll work. You could do a standalone stuff with Deadpool, but 2 things with that. First, you know, some of his best stuff is going to be while he's in the MCU. Like, Deadpool's got to be Deadpool in the MCU, you know?
Well, he can make jokes and reference that he's in 2 separate movies. Like, he could say, "Oh, I remember doing that in my rated R film, but I can't do that here." Like, he could be the fourth wall breaking character, I guess, and mention that.
And then secondly, when he's in his own movies, clearly you're going to have characters from the MCU. I'm not talking about all of them, but some of them are going to be in there. they're gonna allow him, like, I would, like, goddamn well, we would like shut up and take my money now. It feels like Rocket Raccoon and Deadpool on an adventure. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Watching old Al Bundy murder children on the screen, just random stuff. Like, what the hell?
It would be great, but it's kind of like, yeah, but Rocket can't. Everyone establishes Rocket with Guardians of the Galaxy, and if I put him with Deadpool, they're gonna think he's a foul-mouthed raccoon, and he is.
No, but he is though.
He can't.
But they did that with Logan. Logan went from X-Men happy family PG-13 to his rated R Western type film.
And you're right, but Logan wasn't part of the MCU. We're talking about if they become part of the MCU.
I'm just saying the MCU should do stuff similar to Fox's current formula and just throw the Fox logo on it.
This just shows that it works.
Which speaking of, like, considering with Fox things like that, I just recently saw, I think I saw Thor Ragnarok last week. I saw the trailer for the New Mutants.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the trailer for the New Mutants?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
it's like a horror film.
Exactly. I was like, oh shit, this is a horror movie. I don't think they've done this before in like a major franchise universe type of thing. So I was intrigued. I really was intrigued. I didn't think, because at the end of Logan, you could see they were setting up the New Mutants, but I didn't think they'd go this direction with this. So that'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, if let's say Disney does buy Fox, are they going to try to do the Gambit movie? I mean, because that was supposed to happen like last year, or like I think this month, the Gambit movie was supposed to come out, and Channing Tatum just said, "Nah, bro," and just this, like, it just fell apart. Like, what happened?
Oh, he's not in it anymore?
I don't know. Like, it was.
I think he said he's still in it.
It's in Turnaround Like a Mother, because
they need to recast, man. He's getting too old to play Gambit.
I mean,
I don't think he has the acting chops to pull off the Cajun accent.
Well, I don't. Like with that, I think it depends on how you pull it off and who's directing him. Like, he's got to have a strong director. Like with Magic Mike, Steven Soderbergh got something out of him, type of thing. Or you have to put him in his own environment. He has to stay in his box, type of thing. Like with 21 Jump Street, certain type of comedies, kind of thing. Now, is that what Gambit is? No. No, but if you can get a director that could deal with them, or maybe take a certain take on them, I guess that could work. I don't know. So,
well, he did really well in Foxcatcher. That's probably one of his best works.
Yeah, exactly. And who directed Foxcatcher?
Shit, you putting me to work, man.
I know. But like, yeah, Foxcatcher is like one of those, like, but again, Foxcatcher was one of those quiet, somber roles kind of thing, like where he didn't have a lot of monologues or dialogues, things like that. And I'm thinking Gambit will. Gambit, especially Gambit. Gambit, all he does is like to fucking talk. So,
and Gambit needs in my opinion, Gambit needs a takeoff movie. Like, he needed to be in like a new X-Men movie and have a couple of things to let people start to love the character, because they need to define who Gambit is. They tried
to with their whole Taylor Kitsch, but that didn't work out.
With the Wolverine movie, right?
Do you think Channing Tatum's charismatic enough to play Gambit, though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely, no, he'd be character, because
that's like the one thing he has going for the character. I don't think
charisma, just like with The Rock type of thing, is like he's not the best actor in the world, but he's just oozing with charisma type of thing. That's how he got away with on 21 and 22 Jump Street. Like, it's just charisma, and he laughed at himself. So he definitely has the charisma to do it. Now, hell, even watching what was that Coen Brothers movie? What was that one where he was singing?
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar. Like, he had he had 1.5 scenes in Hail Caesar, but he was great in them.
Yeah, he was. He needs to be in like Deadpool 2 to be able to get a good send off into his own movie.
Yeah, something like
that. A cameo of Gambit and that'll work. That'll work.
That'll give him a proper send off for us to be able to know what kind of Gambit they're trying to do. And if we don't like that kind of Gambit they're trying to do, they could always change it for the movie or evolve it. But at least because if they just throw it at the wall and see what sticks with its own film, I think it'll kind of be messy. Yeah, because everybody has a different understanding of who Gambit is. Everybody has a different.
That is true. So what other? So I think I said Alien. I think Fox has Alien. Does Fox have Predator? I'm
pretty sure they have Predator and Freddy Krueger.
Oh shit, Freddy Krueger under the Disney mantle.
I don't think they have Freddy. I think Paramount might have that one.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I think Paramount might have that one. But I think they definitely have Alien and Predator. And there's going to be a new Predator movie called The Predator. Remember?
Yeah, that looks okay.
Who knows they could do with it? They're going to do another Alien movie after this one. I think they said, what's his name?
They got Planet of the Apes.
Now, this is my question.
They got a lot of stuff, man. Fox is like
Marvel does get
underrated.
21st Century Fox.
Yes.
I feel like they should introduce the Fantastic Four just like in a random Avengers movie. Like, don't give them a solo film. Just say, hey, here's the Fantastic Four. They're already established. They have their powers. Here they are. Then do a film with them, but don't make it an origin film. We already know their origins twice now. Let's do a film as a dysfunctional family dealing with a threat.
True. So, like, kind of like what they did with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, really. Yeah, we've seen your origin like 5 times, dude. We know how you got here, type of thing. Just throw us into it. But so, do you do it contemporary modern times, or do you?
I would prefer it
like
in the 60s or 70s,
like the kitschy like the kitschy 60s kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of thing.
I'd prefer in the 70s,
that'd be
60s,
cool.
70s. Yeah, exactly. And then they could be older in the Infinity War times. Like, they could have and give a past history. You know, like, they could be like the elders, like how Ant-Man had the older people who were like the pre-Avengers style type of thing. Like, they could be part of that team.
But you can modernize the movie, but give it a 60 vibe.
Yes,
like,
of course.
Winter Soldier is a modern movie, but it has a 70s spy vibe to it.
Yeah, something like that. And like, you could easily, if you were going to do, again, we're just making movies for Disney. You could do a Fantastic Four movie, and they've already established this in, I think, Civil War. Okay, and Ant-Man. So, make the Fantastic Four back in the 60s, 70s. You already have Hank Pym fighting the commies as Ant-Man, and then you bring in like Cap is still under ice and things like that. So clearly you could see Shield. Shield is still there, and all the things they're doing like that. I was thinking maybe where Avengers Tower is right now, back in the 60s and 70s, that could be Baxter Tower, and then something happens to them. Maybe they go, because you know how the Fantastic Four go to other dimensions and shit like that. Maybe they went to other dimension. They abandoned Baxter Tower, and Tony bought it. Made
That'd be
Avengers
dope.
Tower.
And then in the future, they bring them out of the dimension.
They come out of the dimension like, what? They bring them out. Oh my god, dude!
The hell's a cell phone?
Not just that.
Yo, I'm writing this shit right now.
Right now, like, this is what you do. This is what you do. Bring them. Okay. Doctor Strange has already told us that the way he gets his powers is from other dimensions, and he draws energy from other dimensions. He finds a dimension that Fantastic Four went to. They got trapped, and they came back. They never aged, so they're the same age as they were before. But now they have 60 sensibilities in modern day, and now they're joining. You're welcome, Disney. I just wrote you your Fantastic Four movie franchise.
It's an excellent film. I'll see it.
Yeah.
They just come back, fish out of water right there. Boom.
And who do we cast?
Oh God, don't do this to me.
Jason Bateman as Mr. Fantastic?
No, Stephen Colbert is Mr. Fantastic. Screw it. He was Mr. Impossible in the Venture Brothers. He'd be Mr. Fantastic in the movies.
All right, so The Thing. Who are we casting? John Cena.
Here's the thing about Thing. All right. First of all, if you do have Thing, if we do have Thing, and if Bruce Banner comes back to Earth, we got to have a Thing Hulk kind of buddy, kind of taking jabs at each other kind of thing. We got to have
absolutely
John Cena.
Yeah, that's true. Second, remember that Ben Grimm was supposed to be a fighter pilot, so he has to be someone that he can't be that motherfucker that Jamie Bell was in Fantastic. No, he's not. No, he's gregarious. He's the blue-eyed, ever-loving thing, fun-loving thing, kind of thing. Him and Johnny got to be going back and forth. Got to throw Spider-Man into the mix, kind of thing. Like, it's just, I should be having fun hanging out with these guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
So here's another good question, because which is great, because one of the main problems with the MCU is that they don't have very strong villains. They also get Victor Von Doom back.
And Thank God. If they do him properly, oh my God.
They do him properly. We already know Sokovia is a nation with the Sokovia Accords. Now we have what is the name of his country? What is he from? He's from the country that he's a ruler over, type of thing. So maybe he also comes back from the other. Maybe they were fighting Doom. They went to the other universe and they stayed there. He comes back. He sees everything that has happened. He now discovers it, or I guess he already knew, but it's been proven. Other universes, other enemies out there. Doom is now a major player in the MCU again.
He's from Latveria, by the way.
Latveria. Thank you.
Bring Magneto in the mix. Like, with messing around with everybody else, that'd be great.
I'm sure I'm ready for Magneto and Professor X to be recast.
And that's the thing we talked about before, because we're like, oh man, Disney should buy X. But we were talking about this years ago. Like, is there room for all of them? Like, can we have all of that?
There definitely is. Yeah, I think there is.
What do we do with shows like Gifted? Do we merge them to, or do we take them?
Man, that's a good question.
No. Do we treat them like Elseworld stories,
like
or do we merge them?
It's getting pretty big. It's getting pretty bloated. Which
but it already is though in the comic.
It already is, but at least they're having that problem now. Unlike, again, we're getting on a tangent, but I love that. That's what the show's all about. Unlike what DC is. Have you heard what DC is trying to do?
Man, they're gonna reboot it with a Flashpoint, pretty much.
No, I would think that, but like a month ago, I heard, all right, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna keep the Justice League universe, this whole Batman versus Superman. They're gonna keep that, but they're also gonna have one-offs like Elseworlds. So they're gonna have
Elseworld stories.
Joker origin story with like Scorsese directing it and him having a Joker origin story. They're gonna have like these one-offs type of thing. So there's going to be the main timeline and the one-offs that I'm sitting there. And not to mention, they have TV shows that aren't part of that universe. The Gotham's not a part of Flash, which isn't a part of the DC EU. It's just like, dude, like...
The thing is that we're into comic books and we know the world and stuff like that. Yes. But a lot of people in the actual world who are working day to day, who don't pay attention to common books, they don't know that Flash is not in the Marvel universe. They think it's all the same. They're like, oh, it's a comic book movie. It's not. So they see it like different. So they can have all these different stories and still have it be successful.
But I think the layman, and you're right about that. But the layman person understands there's DC and there's Marvel. But the layman person. But there's a lot less layman people that know if they're going to go see Justice League next week. It's next week, right? Next week. Friday.
It's Thursday.
They go see next week. Yeah, next Thursday. If they're going to go see next week, and all of a sudden they see this dark-haired Barry Allen, they're going to be like, wait, he's not like the dude on the show? Because they're going to be watching the CW for the last 2-3. It's like, wait, it's not the dude on the show. Where's Arrow? Like, you don't sigh, but you have to explain to them, no, it's a different universe. It doesn't. But Marvel has Agent Coulson's like, no, I know. They're doing it right. DC's doing it wrong, but you just gotta go with it.
Pretty much, yeah. But I'm okay with Elseworld stories because
I am too. But
you get I don't know. You could have a rated R film, and then you could have a rated PG-13 film in the main continuity.
Because I'm about having the story being the strong point of the whole thing. Like that's what's most important. If they could get the story out properly, that's what's most important. Like Deadpool, when they did that story, they weren't thinking about like the X-Men universe. They were just like, let's make this the best Deadpool story we can make. So in Wolverine, they made it the best Logan story they can create. So I like that. And that's where comic books needs to be right now.
Because a lot of
times comic books include everything, but they don't do it.
You could still see the connection, even though it was a loose connection, which is all you need. The loose connection to the story kind of thing that like you kind of make your own inference. All the X-Men are dead. What happened? Oh, Professor X had a migraine. Oh, that's like, oh, okay. We don't need to talk about it anymore. With Deadpool, where they're making jokes about it, where he's like, oh, I go to the X-Men mansion, all I can afford is these 2 X-Men type of thing. Like they make a connection to it. With these, I don't think there's going to be any connection to it, and it feels like. And the thing is with Marvel, it seems like even though it wasn't part of the plan, it seems like they're being proactive. But with DC, it seems like they're being reactive.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But here's my counter argument. Continuity could be a problem. Like Age of Ultron, they're so concerned of let's make sure we plug this film, that film, this film into this film that the storyline suffers, the plot suffers. Yeah. The film as a whole suffers. So an Elseworld story, you're not worried about, I don't have to worry about continuity. I can do whatever the hell I want and give you guys a solid story.
And not to mention, they're already kind of folding themselves onto continuity because what's her name? Alfie Woodard was in Luke Cage as one of the big bads, but she was also a mother whose son got killed by Tony Stark and Sokovia. And
all black people look alike.
I guess they do because they're trying to fold over like that. So it's kind of like, So
hey,
I mean,
that's what it is. We all look alike.
So if I guess we're right here making our fantasy list. If Disney buys 21st Century Fox, I usually before when all this started, because remember the first deal was Disney buying Marvel for $4 billion, and everyone was up in arms like, oh my god, they're gonna put Mickey Mouse with Spider-Man, it's gonna be awful, da da da. And they did a great job. I remember back then saying, guys, calm down, they know what they're doing. Then, when they bought Star Wars again for like another $7 billion or something like that, I was like, oh my god, no, they're going to put Mickey Mouse in it. I was like, guys, did you not just see what they did with Marvel? Calm the fuck down.
Exactly.
Are we now going to have people still saying, "Oh my God, they're going to buy the X-Men and all this other stuff, and the aliens are going to Disney all up"? Like, guys, are you not seeing a pattern here? Do you not?
Yeah, they do an amazing job of creating these walls and barriers from each world that they have.
Disney knows what they're doing. Disney knows their shit. Disney knows how to take care of things like that. So, what I feel you guys would be your final thoughts if this does go through.
My final thoughts are: once they finish this purchase, would they move forward and purchase some of their properties back from Universal Pictures, like solo rights to the Hulk and also the rights to Namor, because Aquaman's coming out next year.
That is true.
And I know they're going to want to contend with Aquaman with their own water, Submariner character. So, yeah.
Namor's a good character, too. He's such a dick.
I think this is going to be a plus for 20th Century Fox and for Disney if this does happen, because it allows them to use the stories in a more organic way that they couldn't do before. I think it'll be a plus for both sides, just like it was a plus for Sony's Spider-Man.
But I also feel like you're both. I agree with you, but also to contend the other side. I think because Marvel didn't have X-Men and Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, they had to dig deep into their library. Like, if they had all these originally, we probably wouldn't have a Captain Marvel movie coming up. We probably wouldn't have a Black Panther movie coming next February. We probably almost most definitely wouldn't have a female Captain Marvel movie coming up, type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a good point.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, that Blade saved Marvel's cinema universe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because they were bankrupt in 1996, and it was the money that they made with Blade that came out August 21st, 1998. They took that money and they were able to fund Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man blew up, and then it was kind of like a chain reaction of Marvel films after that were successful.
I think what saved Marvel is they sold all their. That's why they're called fractured. They sold Fox to X-Men to Fox and Fantastic Four apparently to Fox. They sold Spider-Man to Sony. And then they still had all the other characters. I think they had like Cap and Iron Man, like, nobody wants these characters, we'll just keep them type of thing.
Yep.
Until Paramount, because remember, the first Iron Man movie was a Paramount movie. And it was like, Paramount was Iron Man, Hulk was Universal, Captain America was Paramount, and then Disney said, no, we see where this is going. They bought all of it, or as much as they could. So,
yep.
But yeah, guys, so, man, it was a great conversation, really delved into this. Please tell everyone how we can reach you guys and what you guys are up to.
Do that, Casey. I'm lazy.
Hey, man, you can reach us on the Bacchanal on Facebook. We got a Facebook page and it's blowing up. So check us out on that, or on Instagram at the Bacchanal, and on Twitter.
Can you spell Bacchanal? Because
Yeah. Oh yeah, spell that out. Yeah.
Hold on, let me load up the stuff. But it's Baccanal.
Are you sure?
There's an H in there. Come on now. You can't spell?
Let me find it.
Click-down phonics did not work for you.
You spell it, man.
I'm looking at your screen right now. And
it's the and then Bacchanal, Baccanal. So it's like Bacchanal for all you fans of Bacchanal action.
Good job. Way to bring it back to our first grade methods. Here to tell you right now, people are always immature. I went to medical school. We were talking about reproductive things. When they said penis, we still snickered. Yeah, future doctors snickering at the word penis.
What you gotta do? I'm in grad school and I still
you guys all, is it just Facebook? Any other social media things like that? Like when's your new episode coming up?
Oh, we got an email also. Actually, let me say the email too. We got the email. It's thebacchanalsquad@gmail.com. That's thebacchanalsquad@gmail.com.
Squad. Hey, we didn't even talk about my boy Tyrese. We didn't even touch that.
Well, we could get to that later. Maybe I can come onto your show. We'll talk about that later. Who knows? Tyrese just... Oh, yeah, he's on meds now. Or he was on meds, and that's why he went crazy. Fuck Tyrese. Fuck him. That's what I gotta say. Fuck him.
Yeah,
he has Megatron in his backyard. I can't feel bad for it.
Tyrese is full of shit, man.
Well, fuck him. Fuck, yeah, whatever. So, like, you guys have a Twitter? You have Twitter? All that?
Yeah. We have everything under the same name. The Bacchanal. Bacchanal.
Sweet.
On Instagram, right, Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play.
Okay, cool. Google Play. Oh man, you guys are balling. Jeez. But yeah, so that's all the places you can reach them. If you guys want to reach me and want to see ever more lovely episodes of the What If Podcast, you can find me on YouTube. Look up The What If Podcast, The What If Podcast on YouTube. Put in your search bar. You'll see a picture, a blue background, bald bearded black dude with a finger up. That is me. Click subscribe. Play it again and again on the loop, and then comment there. I'm also on SoundCloud. Just go to the soundcloud.com/thewhatifcast. If you want to tell me your what if scenarios, like the Bacchanal Podcast did today, just email me at thewhatifcast@gmail.com. Or if an email is too formal, you can go to Twitter and just 150 characters. Apparently now it's like 240 now. You can write
280.
Like soliloquy. 280.
Trump's about to have a field day with that shit.
Exactly. You can do that. You just go to Twitter at @the_whatifcast. I'm also on Instagram, so you can follow me. And I have a bunch of Instagram hoes. No, I don't. I don't have any. Please, Instagram hoes, follow me. Anyways, go to Instagram, search What If Podcast, and I am also on Facebook. Search for What If Podcast. Once again, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on. You guys have been great. This has been an in-depth conversation. And
thank you for having us, man.
Thank you, kind sir. Ugo, I like that name. It strikes fear in the heart.
It means eagle. Eagle.
Is it African?
Yes, it's African. It's Nigerian, man. Come on.
I like it, man. It's
it's
like,
dope.
You got to come with your A game if you come up to a girl and like, hey, my name is Ugo. You can't be, you can't hit them with the lazy doodle with a name like Ugo.
The lazy doodle?
Yeah, you can't lazy doodle it.
Lazy diddle? Is that like that? See, you might hit with the lazy diddle after.
No. You have a name that strikes, strength and wisdom. You're like, my name is Ugo. They're like, oh, well, I do declare, Ugo.
I have the vapors, and then I catch her, and it's just it's golden from there. Yeah. But thanks, guys, for coming on. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And I'm Ugo with the What If Podcast, and I will see you guys next time. Say goodbye to the audience, guys.
All right. Peace out. Peace out.
It's been real, man. I'll be at the Heroes Expo in Atlanta this weekend if anybody wants to see me.
Yay! So go to Heroes Expo in Atlanta and go see Greg-Akil, and just throw a drink in his face, ladies. That'll be fun.
Hey, I'll drink it. I'll catch it.
Catch it in his mouth.
Catch a shot.
Savage.
Sweet. All right, guys. I will see you next time.
All right. Peace.